So, just when everyone thought Gypsy Rose Blanchard was stepping out of the public eye to enjoy a quiet, low-key life after parole, she's right back in the center of a brand new storm, and this time, it's not just rumors or a flurry of TikToks. This time, it's full-on cameras, boom mics, and a mysterious film crew trailing her every move through the streets of New Orleans. And now, fans are scrambling to piece together what's really going on behind the scenes. It all began innocently enough. Gypsy had just completed her parole, officially free from legal supervision for the first time since her release from prison. No ankle monitor. No check-ins. No restrictions. It was a huge moment. And to celebrate, she did what any newly freed 20-something might do. She hit the road with her best friends Bree and Sheena for a weekend getaway in New Orleans. A little escape, a few laughs. Some late-night karaoke. Classic girls trip energy, right? But the trip didn't stay low-key for long. Fans caught sight of Gypsy on a public EarthCam livestream, casually walking down a neon-lit street. But what caught everyone's attention wasn't just Gypsy's post-parole glow, it was what was following her. A full-on professional film crew. Real equipment. Boom microphones. Camera operators. Sound engineers. Not vloggers. Not paparazzi. This was coordinated, big-budget filming. And just like that, the internet exploded with speculation. Reddit threads started popping up, TikTok sleuths began dissecting the footage frame by frame, and conspiracy theories multiplied. The biggest question on everyone's mind is Lifetime filming another season of Life After Lockup, and if so, why are they doing it in complete silence? The theory gained even more traction when Bree, Gypsy's best friend and longtime supporter, went live on social media and accidentally confirmed what many already suspected. With a serious, no-nonsense tone, she admitted that Lifetime was with us just that one time.
Rose's best friend crashes out on a live stream, defending her for going out to celebrate her getting off of parole.
Girl has a child. She's trying to move on with her life. She had one weekend of fun with her friends, and y'all want to post about Lifetime and stuff. Lifetime was not there with us anytime but one day. Like, Gypsy was having just fun with her friends. And also, Gypsy didn't get engaged at Cat's Meow. Y'all are stupid. Y'all let people grift off of y'all. Y'all are the ones that are getting played. Y'all are getting played.
Like
and eventually, y'all are going to see it. And y'all are going to feel real stupid. Don't come crawling over here either.
One of the reasons people are so upset is GRB has a very young fan base, and GRB is influencing our youth, particularly her demographic of early 20s females, teenage girls. She's trying to rebrand as a mommy vlogger. She says she's an influencer and an advocate, but this type of behavior is unacceptable. Also, allegedly, GRB was chased out of a BAR because people were yelling, "She's an M, a deleter, an unaliver." Now that GRB is off of parole, the mask is slipping.
Fans immediately connected the dots. The EarthCam footage from that night lined up perfectly, same location, same outfits, same crew. Suddenly, what had seemed like a far-fetched theory looked more like a low-key operation that someone didn't want the public to know about yet. But that raises even more questions. Why the secrecy? Why no announcement? No teaser, no press release, not even a sneaky behind-the-scenes post. Could it be that Lifetime is planning a surprise drop? Or are they playing it safe after the last season went down in flames? Because let's not forget, Season 2 of Life After Lockup was a complete disaster. It didn't just underperform, it practically nosedived. Viewers were vocal about their disappointment. Many said the show felt slow, forced, and emotionally empty. The editing was clunky, the tone kept shifting, and the narrative arc just didn't connect. At times, it felt like the producers didn't even know what story they were trying to tell. One episode would try to paint Gypsy as a misunderstood survivor, bravely piecing her life together after years of abuse. The next would show her laughing through live streams, doing makeup tutorials, and talking about brand deals as if none of it ever happened. That mismatch between the show and her real-life online behavior turned a lot of viewers off. People weren't buying the redemption arc. Instead of seeing someone on a path of healing, they saw someone trying to rebrand as a social media influencer. And that disconnect hurt the show's credibility. Fans didn't feel like they were watching a woman recovering from trauma, they felt like they were watching a promo campaign for her next business move. Even her live stream watch parties during the episodes rubbed people the wrong way. Instead of reflecting on what was being shown or offering insight, Gypsy would laugh, crack jokes, or completely switch topics midstream. It made it seem like she wasn't taking any of it seriously, and neither was the network. To save the crumbling show, Lifetime made a dramatic pivot. They brought in Gypsy's ex-fiancé, Ryan, to stir the pot. And he did not come quietly. His presence was raw and unfiltered. He wasn't there to play nice or offer closure. He was there to speak his truth, and it was messy. His side of the story painted a much different picture of their relationship, and it added a whole new layer of drama to the series that some felt was more exploitative than enlightening. So now, with new cameras following Gypsy again, and no official word from the network, people are left wondering, what is Lifetime planning? Is this a rebrand? A final attempt to tell her story the right way? Or is it just another cash grab banking on the public's obsession with Gypsy's rollercoaster life? When Ryan finally broke his silence, it wasn't to play nice, or to protect Gypsy Rose's public image. In fact, his words did the opposite. According to him, Gypsy wasn't the reformed, sweet-hearted survivor she was portrayed as on screen. He claimed she had a knack for playing situations to her advantage, bending the truth, telling half-truths, and manipulating the narrative to make herself look more sympathetic. And suddenly, it felt like the series had shifted from a redemption arc into something way messier. The tone of life after lockup took a hard left. What started out as a story of second chances began morphing into something that resembled an exposé. The editing felt sharper, more chaotic. Gone were the heartfelt moments of rebuilding. In their place, uncertainty, tension, and a whole lot of emotional whiplash. Viewers weren't sure what to believe anymore. Was Gypsy the victim, or was she playing the role a little too well? The confusion spilled over into frustration. Instead of following a clear narrative, the series started to feel scrambled. At times, it was emotional. Other times, it veered into full-blown reality TV chaos. It didn't feel organic, it felt like a production. And the audience caught on fast. People started calling it out online, saying the drama felt staged, the emotional beats manipulated. There was a growing sense that Lifetime was pulling strings behind the scenes, manufacturing conflict just to keep people watching, but the trick didn't work this time. Bringing Ryan in as a plot twist only made things worse. Rather than reinvigorating interest, it made the show feel even more disjointed. Fans who had been watching out of curiosity now backed off completely. They weren't interested in watching forced chaos. They wanted something real, or at the very least, something consistent. And then, just when it looked like things couldn't get any more bizarre, Lifetime tried to end the season with a splash. In the final episode, long after many viewers had already tuned out, they dropped a scene that was clearly designed to tug at heartstrings. Gypsy's then-fiancé, Ken Urker, was filmed walking into a jewelry store. It wasn't subtle. The cameras followed him browsing rings, speaking with a jeweler, and revealing that he planned to propose the moment Gypsy's parole ended. It was the kind of dramatic setup that Lifetime loves, a proposal as both a love story and a symbol of freedom, but for many, it felt a little too convenient. A little too polished. Like bait to keep the audience on the hook for another season. And Gypsy didn't exactly deny it. During a live stream shortly after the finale aired, she casually told fans, "If y'all want a season 3, go watch season 2. That line said a lot more than it seemed to. It wasn't just an offhand remark, it sounded like a calculated nudge. Now that Gypsy's off parole and living without legal restrictions, things have only gotten more suspicious. She's been seen in public again, not just living her life, but being filmed. And not by fans or influencers. We're talking about a professional camera crew, full setup, sound equipment, everything. Once again, people are wondering, has filming quietly resumed? Is Lifetime preparing another round of episodes without saying a word? And as if all that wasn't enough, Season 2 stirred up even more drama by dragging in a completely unexpected name, Ivory Rose. If you're not familiar, Ivory is a TikTok creator who became vocal about Gypsy's sudden rise to internet fame. She wasn't aggressive or threatening. She didn't harass Gypsy or go after her with hate speech. She simply spoke critically, sometimes bluntly, about Gypsy's behavior, calling out the contrast between her real-life actions and the sympathetic persona crafted on TV. But that didn't stop Lifetime from turning her into a character. Through careful editing, Ivory was cast as a sort of online antagonist. The show took pieces of her content, re-edited them to look confrontational, and suggested she was part of the pressure and stress Gypsy was dealing with post-prison. That framing had consequences. By painting Ivory as a villain, Lifetime essentially threw her to the wolves. What followed were waves of harassment, threatening messages, hateful DMs, and people accusing her of being obsessed with Gypsy or trying to destroy her reputation. All because a network reframed honest criticism as toxic bullying. It blurred a dangerous line between accountability and scapegoating. What started as valid commentary turned into a weaponized storyline. And the result? A smaller creator got targeted simply for speaking out, while Gypsy was shown as someone constantly under attack rather than someone facing natural public scrutiny for her choices. When Ryan came forward with his version of events, it wasn't just a bitter ex-venting, it was a total shift in the narrative. According to him, the Gypsy people saw on TV wasn't the full picture. He claimed she had a habit of twisting the truth, using sympathy as a shield, and shaping stories to fit a more flattering version of herself. Lifetime, he suggested, didn't just go along with it, they helped her build that image. And then, almost without warning, the tone of the show changed. What had started as a comeback story quickly turned into something darker, more chaotic. It stopped feeling like a journey of healing and started to resemble a train wreck in slow motion. Fans were left guessing what they were supposed to feel. Was Gypsy a misunderstood survivor, or something else entirely? That confusion didn't sit well. Viewers who came looking for closure, or at least some truth, ended up feeling like they were watching a drama that had lost its script. The emotional beats felt uneven. The story jumped around. Instead of authenticity, it felt like manufactured mess. Like producers were pulling strings, throwing in conflict just to squeeze out one last gasp of attention. Then they played their big twist, Ryan's reappearance, but it didn't have the effect Lifetime hoped for. If anything, it made things worse. What should have brought clarity only added more layers of tension and instability. And slowly but surely, people started checking out. The emotional roller coaster wasn't exciting anymore, it was exhausting. And just when you thought they were done, they tried one last Hail Mary. In the final stretch of Season 2, Lifetime threw in a scene featuring Ken Urker, Gypsy's new guy, shopping for engagement rings. The cameras zoomed in. The lines were clear. He was planning to propose once she was off parole. Romantic? Sure. But let's be honest, it was obviously meant to be a hook. A carefully scripted cliffhanger to keep viewers curious about what was coming next. And then, as if to seal the deal, Gypsy jumped on a live stream and dropped a line that hit like a soft confirmation. If y'all want Season 3, go watch Season 2. It sounded casual, but it was calculated, a wink at the audience. Just enough to stir the pot. Fast forward a bit, Gypsy's parole officially ends. She's seen out again, this time with zero restrictions. But what really caught people's attention wasn't where she was. It was who was following her. A full camera crew. Not fans. Not paparazzi. Real gear. Boom mics. Lighting setups. Professional hands on deck. And just like that, speculation kicked into overdrive. Was Lifetime filming again? If so, why all the secrecy? Then there's the Ivory Rose situation, a whole other layer of drama that Season 2 stirred up. Ivory, a TikTok creator, had posted videos that were critical of Gypsy's quick leap into influencer life. She questioned the branding, the live streams, the sudden shift from survivor to public figure. And while her tone was blunt, she never crossed any serious lines. No threats. No harassment. Just sharp commentary, but the show painted her differently. Lifetime cut clips from her content and spun them into something darker. Suddenly, Ivory was positioned as a bully, an online aggressor making Gypsy's life harder. They framed her as a source of emotional stress, suggesting she was part of the reason Gypsy was struggling. And that kind of narrative, when it comes from a national platform, can be dangerous. After those episodes aired, Ivory started receiving hate online, DMs full of insults, threats from strangers, accusations that she was obsessed or jealous. All because the show took someone who was critical and made her look like a villain. It blurred the line between holding someone accountable and vilifying them. Let's stop pretending this is spontaneous. The clues aren't scattered, they're stacked. A dramatic season 2 cliffhanger with Ken eyeing engagement rings. A very specific live stream moment where Gypsy tells fans to watch season 2 if you want a season 3. Then, crystal clear footage of her in New Orleans with a full professional camera crew trailing her. And finally, Brie, Gypsy's ride or die, going live and saying it straight, it was Lifetime. That's not speculation. That's a setup. This whole thing looks less like coincidence and more like choreography. Planned. Controlled. Packaged. And honestly, the public is checked out. Not because Gypsy's life doesn't matter, but because the way it's being presented feels staged, recycled, and tired. Instead of pulling back, Gypsy leaned in, hard. She didn't take time to quietly reflect after Parole ended, she launched. Branding, content, live streams, potential product deals. The shift from a just released to just rebranded happened fast. It wasn't growth people saw, it was marketing. A hustle that seemed less about healing and more about staying visible. And now, with Lifetime potentially rolling cameras again, it's giving déjà vu. But not in a good way. It's not evolution, it's repetition. So the big question, why is this happening again? After a season that flopped so badly audiences tuned out mid-arc, why double down? Why return to the same story after viewers made it clear they were exhausted by it? Are we just pretending that season 2 didn't crash and burn? Are we ignoring how disconnected and confusing it became? Or is Lifetime banking on people's short memory and long attention spans? It doesn't feel like a new beginning. It feels like the same old drama wearing a fresh coat of PR gloss. Because if this was truly about growth, it would look different. Growth isn't rushed. It isn't polished. And it definitely doesn't come with camera crews ready to roll the moment Parole ends. This comeback feels designed, not discovered. Less like personal transformation and more like a well-timed media move, and we've already seen what Lifetime is willing to do with the edit. Ivory Rose is a perfect example. She gave public criticism, sharp, but grounded in truth. And instead of acknowledging that, the network clipped her content to fit a storyline. Suddenly, she was the bad guy. A so-called online bully. When in reality, she was just someone asking tough questions. That's what makes this whole rollout feel slippery. When the edit can paint critics as villains, and frame concern as hate, how can we trust what we're being shown now? What's going to be cut out this time? And who's going to be the next scapegoat if the storyline starts falling apart again? Which brings us to the bigger question, should we even be watching? Because this isn't just about Gypsy anymore. It's about what we reward. What we watch. What we allow networks to get away with when they blur the line between storytelling and manipulation. Every stream, every share, every click, it tells producers what we care about. And if we keep feeding into the chaos, they'll keep serving it. So, is this a second chance? Or just a rerun in disguise? Should Lifetime be trusted with Gypsy's story again? Or are they just spinning the same drama, hoping we're too curious to look away? Let me know what you think in the comments. And remember, every time you press play, you're helping shape what stories get told next.